Hi everyone, welcome to the first episode of An Analytical Look At, where we will take an analytical look at Myself, Yourself. Myself, Yourself is my most favorite anime series of all time. I think this will be the perfect episode to test waters for this new series. I do hope to expand upon this series further and analyze different anime series and the various topics and themes that correlate with them. So I really look forward to the feedback that you provide. No matter if it's a positive or negative comment, I will take it and try to work as hard as I can to work out this series. But before we get into the first episode, I really wish to warn people that there will be a lot of spoilers discussed. We'll be examining different characters and their story arcs. So unless you have watched the series and you don't want to be spoiled, you should probably go watch it. But if you don't mind being spoiled, you can continue, although there will be a second warning that this episode will contain mature themes. There are various social issues such as suicide and homosexuality, as well as certain mature themes like blood and murder. So if you're not interested in that sort of thing, or if you get nauseous just even hearing about it, you should probably not watch this episode. But if you don't mind any of that, continue, and I hope you enjoy. Thank you very much. Myself, Yourself is a series that has stuck with me for many years and is the major reason why I got so invested into anime and its community. The characters each have their own dilemmas that they struggle with throughout the series that the voice actors express amazingly well. The story also deals with many serious issues that would not have been present in many romantic anime dramas at the time. The soundtrack provides eloquent melodies that work to enhance the overall atmosphere of the series as well. Of course, there are some faults within the series in relation to execution and character development, as well as in the animation and cohesion of the series, but I do not feel they strongly detract from the themes that the series explores. There are several themes explored by Myself Yourself that I would love to discuss about in the future, but today I only want to discuss one of these. This theme is that of time. The ways the characters examine their past and their future is a major component of all the characters' issues, as some want to go back in time, others are stuck in time, and some just want to move on with their lives quickly. Myself Yourself stresses that time is limited, and the time a person uses in life is crucial to their well-being. Personally, the topic of limited time is a dilemma of mine, and I think that is why Myself Yourself resonates with me so much. I want to expand upon this theme, and I want to do this by examining how the series sets itself to reflect time and the application of time in relation to the characters. Myself Yourself utilizes two mechanisms that help add to the atmosphere of the series' theme of time: sepia tone and sunsets. Many of the flashback scenes to when the characters were younger, especially as young children, use sepia tone to overlay the scenes. The use of sepia tone in film and animation is commonly done to create a sense of reminiscence or old-fashioned ways. Myself Yourself, however, takes this mechanism a step further by using bright, warm colors for the flashback scenes, as the characters recall their memories as children. This signifies that the memories contain pleasant, cheerful, and memorable experiences for them. It also contrasts this by having other flashback scenes that do not use sepia tone and full color, as the characters remember them. This represents that these scenes affected the characters in some way for them to remember these memories completely with color intact, usually because these scenes were upsetting or hurtful to the characters at the time. The other mechanism Myself Yourself uses are sunsets. Most of the big scenes occur around sunset in the series. These scenes usually contain anger, sorrow, and confusion, and the sunset sets the flames ablaze for the setting. However, the series also goes immediately from the sunset scenes to the characters reflecting on their actions. Sunsets often symbolize the end of the day's work, and in Myself Yourself, it is used to signify that it is time to take a break and recall what occurred during that day. This helps to further develop the characters and build their relationships by recollecting their interactions. The character that often does this form of thinking is the male lead. Sana Hirata is the main protagonist of the series. He recently moved back to his hometown of Sakuramori after moving away from there 5 years ago and reunites with his old friends. Throughout the series, Sana constantly thinks about the old times of living in the city and about reuniting with his friends. Sana is constantly searching for something in the past, as he always mentions the old times and reflects about how some people have changed from how he remembers them to be. This sentiment first mirrors itself in the opening sequence, where he is facing away from the moving crowd. This represents how Sana is stuck in the past with his old ways, trying to get back to how he once was, while everyone around him in the crowd is moving forwards to the future. Another common aspect in the opening sequence and series is the use of timepieces for certain characters. Sana has a watch on his left wrist to cover the scar where he slit his wrist in a failed attempt at suicide. The watch is mounted with a digital display, and it may symbolize order in Sana's life as a memory not to kill himself again. Throughout the series, however, Sana thinks about how some aspects of his childhood changed. For instance, in episode 2, after reuniting with Nanaka at the end of the previous episode, he comments about how Nanaka's attitudes have changed and wonders why this happened. Then something occurs near the end of the episode where he remembers Nanaka's melody of Myself Yourself, which he plays on the piano, stating that he can still play it from memory as it was precious to him. In episode 3 and 8, Sana shows his friends that he kept many other gifts after all these years. He treasures his childhood very dearly, and he wants to return to how he was back then in order to escape his trauma when he was bullied in middle school after moving and opted to end his life. He returned to Sakura no Mori to find his old self by reuniting with his friends. However, his memories of suicide reappear in episodes 3 and 10 when knives appear in scenes of blood. Even the smallest smudge of blood triggers his memories and causes him to feel nauseous, yet this feeling supposedly subsides when he sees Nanaka replicating his action of slitting her wrist. This is because that terrifies him even more than slitting his own wrist, that is, seeing the person he loves killing herself. Through the series, Sana desperately wanted to escape the traumatic memories of suicide by coming to Sakura no Mori, but it is not until he realizes that he cannot escape those memories, no matter how hard he tries, and then he begins to move forward to stand by the side of the person he loves forever, Nanaka. In regards to Nanaka Yatsushiro, she suffers from amnesia after an arsonist set fire to her home, killing her parents. She used to love playing the violin, but she cannot seem to play it after the attack because it resurfaces sunken memories, as shown by a tightening in her chest when she tries to play it. Nanaka's dilemma of the arson attack causing amnesia is holding her back from growing, and she exhibits childlike behavior when she begins to open up with the others again. In the opening sequence, Nanaka is with a bunch of stone staircases and buildings. Although there is no official timepiece in relation to Nanaka, the staircase she is leaning on can resemble a sundial with a shadow casting over her body. In episode 12, Nanaka reveals that her personality became dark after the arson events. The shadow can symbolize her changed personalities, but also reference that the bright light is a trigger for her memories, and she closes her eyes when the sunlight dashes across her face. As previously mentioned, it appears Nanaka's amnesia is inhibiting the maturation of her behavior. She often does childlike behavior in the series, such as skipping while humming a melody, pouting when she does not get her way, and turning joyous over praise. These aspects of her character were present in her childhood, but the fact that these behaviors are made in contrast to her dark personality are curious. Behavior is generally something that changes over time as people learn about themselves and the world around them. It appears that because of Nanaka's trauma and amnesia, she shut herself off from the world and did not interact with anyone close to her except her uncle and aunt. When Sana arrives, however, he begins to peel away Nanaka's exterior shell to make these childlike behaviors apparent, and she begins to show change towards the end of the series instead of being stuck in the behavioral mindset of a child. Although Nanaka's character development is appropriate for her in the series, one character does not get this treatment or any attempt of character growth. Aoi Oribe, the cousin of Sana, is an extremely high-pitched, respectable girl who loves to read books. Her arc in the game is different from the anime, where she gets no arc specifically to her. Rather, the anime shows you certain instances to display her character and try to justify her in the end. If Nanaka's behaviors are that of a child where she learns to overcome them, Aoi is a child in a teenage girl's body. Throughout the series, Aoi has many scenes where she is eating or cooking that have questionable utensils for a girl her age. In episode 1, Sana questions why Aoi carries an apron, and in episode 2, she reveals it is because she makes a mess while eating and cooking. Not only that, when she eats, she has a kitty bento equipped with a kitty fork, while everyone around her either eats foods with each other's hands or uses chopsticks. Then when Hinako appears in episodes 4 and 6, she calls Aoi One-sama, which pleases Aoi very much in a similar vein to how Nanaka reacts when she receives praise. Only when we get to episode 12 do we see the so-called growth of her character, because she makes a big girl decision to let Sana and Nanaka go to the river by themselves so that they can be alone. Her mother says that she always thought that Aoi was always a little girl besides her big breasts, but she was wrong, and the two of them make a chocolate cake together to celebrate Aoi's newfound maturity. This seems contrived, but it is interesting in relation to the timepiece for her in the opening sequence. Aoi sits on an hourglass with books, a drink, and some treats behind her. The hourglass may reflect how there is a conflict between her mind and her body. The hourglass has a small amount of sand in the bottom bulb, while there is much more sand in the top bulb. This can reflect Aoi's mind as being young compared to her body, or more obviously, her age in relation to the duration of her life. Similarly, another character, Asami Hoshino, got a bit of rushed development near the end of the series. This development was shocking, but also not executed well. The series tries to foreshadow the viewers of her character through the various literary symbols present during Asami's appearances, but is not very effective overall. Asami is a character that puts on a faux mask by acting as a good girl, but deep down is a mentally twisted individual who can barely feel the empathy for others. For example, in episode 11, Asami reveals that she has feelings for Shirley, but when the time came for a confession, Shirley rejected her feelings and said they could still be friends. Shirley continued to be Asami's friend, but Asami hated this relationship, and she thought Shirley was being a fake friend out of pity. Asami focuses only on this one instance for her hatred of Shuri, and represents the mind frozen at one point of time where she cannot continue in life without retribution. Because Asami's mind is set on the rejection and false friendliness of Shirley afterwards, she cannot move on in life until she receives Shirley's love or someone's friendliness. When Asami sees Shirley crying in front of Shusuke, her trigger fires and her pent-up emotions become rampant up to the point where she starts a rumor and causes turmoil around Shirley and Shusuke. It is not until she finds a friend in Sana and confides to him about her belief that her actions are divine punishment that she finds solace from him to confess everything to Shirley. Shusuke and Shirley share their timepiece with Asami in both the opening sequence and the series as a grandfather clock with an unmoving pendulum and broken glass scattered in front. Asami represents the second hand on the clock and keeps ticking but cannot move past the minute and the hour hands, bound by thorny vines that are Shusuke and Shirley. No matter how hard she tries to come between Shusuke and Shirley, she only hurts herself because of her mindset and actions. Shusuke and Shirley are the hour and minute hands respectively in the clock. The thorny vines bounding the two hands represent the pain the two of them share. As mentioned in episode 9, the two of them had a mother that they cared for them and frequently brought them to the nature preserve and Sakura no Mori, which developed fond memories for the twins, but she passed away under unknown circumstances. The pain from their mother's death creates a strong bond between them, and they desperately want to return to the times when she was alive and escape the abuse from their father and stepmother. Shuri's father attempts to pay for the nature preserve for a city hall project that Shuri openly opposes, but that gets her in trouble and causes further physical abuse from her father. The nature preserve is the only thing they have left to remember their mother, but it appears their father forgot about their mother quickly with the introduction of Saiko as their stepmother. Saiko remembers in episode 10 that the twins have grown surprisingly close since entering high school, which likely relates to the time when their mother passed away, as well as their binding and the representation of the hands of the grandfather clock. In episode 10, Shusuke and Shirley decide to run away from their father to live peacefully with each other after all the drama surrounding them erupts. Asami's confession further cements their actions to get away as far as possible to move on in life, abandoning their hope of saving the nature preserve. Shusuke and Shirley share a similar motive with Sana to return to the times of their childhood. Shusuke and Shirley not only want to play with their friends like before, but also return to when their mother was alive to be with her. The twins running away is their step of moving forward because they share the same pain and want to be with each other, which their grandfather clock resembles. The hands on the clock represent connections with Asami, Shirley, and Shusuke. Asami follows in the footsteps of Shirley and Shusuke, which the series displays in the final episode where Asami protected the nature preserve from becoming a new city hall building while the twins were absent. The unmoving pendulum represents their emotions being out of balance, and it is not until they start moving forward around the clock that they begin to find peace in themselves. In contrast, Shusuke had a very peculiar love interest in the 11-year-old Hinako Machida, a child that wants the people around her to see her as an adult yet retains her childish behavior. Hinako has a different perception of time, where she thinks she's an adult and people should respect her as such. However, not everyone takes her seriously at first, especially her love interest of Shusuke, who interrupted a group of kids bullying her. Later in episode 4, Hinako seriously attempts to catch the eye of Shusuke with guidance from Aoi and support from Sana, but fails to do so. When Hinako confesses her feelings to Shusuke on a date in the same episode, he thought she was joking at first. Shusuke realized that she was serious, and he said that he has feelings for another girl that he wants to protect. This scene demonstrates that Shusuke views Hinako as an adult, something she wants people to see her as. Hinako tries not to cry when informing Sana of this, but he comforts her by saying even adults cry when they have a broken heart. This development leads to her affirming her belief that she is an adult with the words of Sana and Shusuke taking her seriously. In episode 6, however, Hinako realizes herself that she is not fully an adult, causing her to run away from home and stay at Sana's apartment. During the night, she asks Sana to sleep with her because she realizes she still needs her large stuffed Yeti-kun and wants to use him as a replacement. She said that initially she did not want to carry it because it was too large and thought she would not need it anyway as an adult. The next day, she goes to the mall with Sana to unknowingly buy herself birthday presents for a surprise birthday party later that day. She picks out childish presents such as a small handbag and kindergarten duck clock that reflects that she still wants to be a child. At the end of the episode, she realizes that she has to go home, which marks the end of her character arc. She is neither a child nor an adult, but an adolescent. She still has childish qualities, but can think like an adult. Hinako struggles with her identity in these episodes, and it is not until her interactions with Sana and his friends that she comes to terms with this ordeal. In comparison, her timepiece is a series of distorted modern clocks with rapidly moving hands. She is confused about her age and who she is, which is why the clocks have distortions. The rapidly moving hands represent her desire to become an adult quickly so people can view her as such, but when she embraces Yeti-kun at the end of the sequence, the clocks disappear, symbolizing that Hinako is content with her decision. Even though Hinako may still have childish qualities, she continues to display them but understands her mature nature as a blossoming adolescent. The final prominent character in Myself Yourself is Yuzuki Fujimura, the homeroom teacher of Sana, Nanaka, Shusuke, and Shuri. Sadly, no timepiece appears for her in the opening, and only a brief glimpse of her appears in the sequence. However, she does express how old habits do not die. Yuzuki often gives her students caramels as rewards for performing good behavior and working hard. This habit of hers developed when she was a child, where she would be given pocket money to buy food, which she used to buy boxes of caramel to play house with. This habit continued through high school, where she gave friends caramels rewards and methods of encouragement, and gave a young Sana one to encourage him to work hard on the horizontal bar. Her conflict is short and appears after the Wakatsuki twins disappear, as she begins to think the desire of helping her students is self-centered because the two of them did not approach her with the problem. It is a conflict resulting from Yuzuki's habit of giving people caramel for encouragement, which developed over the years. She wants her gifts of caramel to be a message that people can rely on her. The habit does not disappear, but shapes who she is by going into the teaching profession. Yuzuki's development is not the best and is only a few minutes long, but it does provide a satisfactory conclusion to her arc and expresses how old habits can influence someone over time. A crucial understanding of Myself Yourself's theme of time is how it allows the characters to move forward. Many of them are stuck in the past, remembering nostalgic memories as children during the dramatic and emotional struggles of their teenage years. The characters have to understand that they cannot go back to those times as young children playing at the river and sharing exciting secrets. Some of them try to escape their troubles with failure, but they come to realize they cannot run away from the problems in the present. The traumatic memories are a part of them that they cannot fully escape, and you have to accept those traumas to move forward. Time is limited in all forms of life, and people need to accept the small amount of time they have to make life exhilarating. Myself Yourself demonstrates that people have to choose to spend their time wisely without chaining themselves to the past. Sometimes it is healthy to think back to the fond memories of the past, as well as the bad times, because it is those memories that shape us. Sana attempts to find the old friends he has by returning to Sakura no Mori, but learns that they changed with few remnants remaining. Nanaka wants to keep the memories of the arson forgotten, but moves on by understanding how she drastically changed from the arson to the present. Asami, Shusuke, and Shuri realize that pent-up emotions will lead them nowhere without letting some of their emotions out. Hinako applies to treasuring the time she has as an adolescent because it is her only time to experience adolescence instead of racing to become an adult. Yuzuki represents the habits that we exhibit from our childhood help shape ourselves. Time is a crucial aspect in the lives of people that many do not seem to realize or feign ignorance. The series presents certain characters in the various scenarios of how they cannot go back to the past or jump towards the future. The characters fondly remember childhood memories they wish they can return, but they cannot. The series was very influential on me during middle school when I was suffering from depression and bullying, and I found the series relatable as well as mind-opening with the different social issues the characters face. Myself Yourself left a huge impact on my life that I cannot seem to forget about even if I tried, because it does relay a message of continuing to live even in the worst of situations. I think the series tries to encapsulate how nostalgia can be healthy and unhealthy, and that time is what makes you and what you make of it. Welcome to my first end card monologue. This is something I've never done before, so I guess it's the first time for everything. But I do want to mention that the next episode of the series will be a analytical look at Love Live Sunshine and how the community has changed since the announcement, because it has seemed that the community was negative at first, but now it's become fond of the characters. And that's also something I would like to take a look at, is the characters and their different stories behind them and the different hints that they might have for the characters in the anime before it airs. Hopefully we can have like a bingo chart to see if I'm right or not. But yeah, so thank you for watching and staying to the end. Please leave any comments below that can help me. I don't mind if it's bad or negative or if it's good. I just really want to work out anything that I may have messed up or something, or how to further the series. So thank you very much.